GBA fans, welcome back. We are back with once again a coach interview. Today we have a bit of a surprise for you all. We have the coach of the Calgary Flamethrowers, Galladite74. Please introduce yourself.
Hello YouTube, hello GBA fans. I am Galladite74. I also go by Migs, and I'm very excited to be here in this league. Very abruptly, but nonetheless going to be very exciting for you guys, and hopefully I can pull out some good content for you.
Yeah, no, we're super happy to have you on board, and kind of crazy circumstances with how this happened, but maybe we can start off with that. Kind of, how did you get here? What happened today?
Well, today's been very hectic, but I'll spare the little details for you. But in short, I was the assistant coach for the Maryland Terrapins, UnderTheRadar, aka Kelly. So my goal is to target that target audience, whoever's fans of Kelly. I am stepping in his place. He's a lot of IRL stuff going on. Not my business to talk about it. We love Kelly here, and again, I'll be stepping in his place, and hopefully I can make you guys proud.
Yeah,
that's how we got here.
Absolutely, yeah. No, it's awesome to see you step in kind of here at the last minute, and excited to see what you can do here on your channel for the GBA this season, and just see how you grow throughout the season. But you're in a pretty unique position, I think, for this opening week. Now, having served really as both the assistant coach and now moving into more of the head coaching role. So, what's your thoughts on kind of the assistant coach system that the GBA is doing this year or this season, and who's going to be your assistant coach?
Well, this is a very unique system that I am a big fan of. Well, first, let me talk about my assistant coach. My assistant coach is CBizzle, aka cbmarcus, and he's been around the draft scene for quite a bit. I know a lot of people love him. I love him, and he is comes up with a lot of interesting sets. So I'm really hoping I can incorporate that into my gameplay this season, and I'm sure you guys will be seeing him on my channel as well. I plan on having him be a part of like the team builders and stuff, and see what we can cook up. The assistant coach idea. I am a really big fan of the assistant coach idea. There are a lot of ways people in draft right now are incorporating new ideas to this format. Some of them are hits, some of them are misses, some don't work, some do. I think the assistant coach, having that in this league is going to be a very big positive. It allows for more different team building dynamics, and just having an extra partner to build with is going to be super nice.
Yeah, no, I definitely can see a lot of benefits to it. I mean, shoot, we really saw it this week, actually, with you being able to step in for Kelly on short notice. I mean, first in line for that coaching spot was right there and ready to go. So from an administrative standpoint, we definitely enjoyed having that just right there and knowing who to reach out to right away. But it seems like there could be a lot of potential with added creativity, maybe to team builds and things like that. And I know I for one am very excited to see how it all shakes out, and it seems like a lot of the coaches have different perspectives even on how to best work with their assistant coaches. So very cool. So what is the plan for your assistant coach? And I know that it's super early on. We were really literally today just made this move to bring you on as a head coach. But what are you thinking you'll work with them on?
Well, the idea here is that I have a place where I build with a few people. I'm very, very picky, and most of the people I build with are in the GBA. So, I really only had one choice for assistant coach. Me and Marcus we have very similar game plans. It's just the way we go about our game plans is very different. So my thought process is that I want to have a little bit of fun with this league. I'm going to have him not take control, obviously, but I'm definitely going to incorporate more of his ideas than I normally would, and just see how it turns out. Because I think that will be very fun, it'll be entertaining, and most importantly, I think we can still win that way.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And I think some of the comments you made there really lead well into the next question. So you mentioned you have maybe some relationships with other coaches who are currently in the GBA. What's some of your background in draft league format? Are there a lot of coaches in the league that you've played against before? Maybe some you might consider a rival? Can you tell me a little about that?
Oh yes, okay. This section is going to be long. Sorry to you guys watching this video, but I just tell you about my history real quick in draft. I've been playing since Gen 6. I've been a little bit on and off through Gen 6 and 7, and at the end of Gen 7, I just full sailed it. and I've been playing almost nonstop until now. I did take a small break at the beginning of the generation. Big thing about my history in Draft League is that I'm a big Gen 8 draft battler. That's when I really got my name out there, and made a lot of relationships in the draft scene, especially with coaches like JV, Shayquaza, Q, Kelly, Jack. Jack was the one who initially opened the door to me to a whole bunch of opportunities. And a lot of people have nostalgia for GBA, obviously. I watched GBA growing up a little bit, UCL, WBE, and all that. And obviously, I still have a lot of nostalgia for that. But a small part of me does have a bit of nostalgia for Gen 8 just because of how small the Wi-Fi community was at that point. And I felt like I was really at my peak at that point. So I do have fond memories of that. And that's where a lot of the bulk of my history goes.
Yeah.
But back to the rivals, Jay, Q, Shay, Jack. Jack's a big one. I know he's an assistant coach. Maybe if I end up facing Jay, I haven't looked at the schedule. Maybe we can do a little shenanigans and get his assistant coach in there. Who knows?
Yeah, that kind of thing could be really fun throughout the season with just random swaps for assistant coaches hopping up to play a game for a fun rivalry like that. I think, yeah, that's definitely some added potential. And you mentioned Generation 8, and as one who didn't play really at all in Generation 8, pretty much put the game down myself during that time. What can you tell us about just your experience during that generation when there weren't really as many content creators out there in particular, and just the draft league scene as a whole, I'm sure, felt really different. Like, what were some of your thoughts through all that?
It felt like a fend for ourselves type of deal because we only had a handful of people. There was probably like less than 100 content creators at least. There was more, showdown players and all that, but when it comes to content, it was very limited. We had to just make ourselves work. Stuff got repetitive, so we tried creative things, and some of them worked, some of them didn't. Kind of like assistant coaches. What do you know? So that's really stuck with me. Another thing about Gen 8 is that I feel as if it's just a personal opinion. The quality of battles never really dropped. It was just the accessibility was so tough with how, LAN or whatever, having to connect with all that stuff was really, really tedious. So I definitely see the turnoff from why it definitely suffered a bit. I enjoyed the quality of battles. I still enjoyed quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seemed like it. I mean, to me, right? Basically, as an outsider, I played in one Gen 8 league, and then I was done. But kind of as an outsider to the generation, it just felt like it forced you so hard to make plays really quickly and play offensively if you wanted to finish a game before the timer went off. So I don't know. I give a lot of props to you all who toughed it out through that generation. And I mean, I think a lot of people like you and others who played through the generation, like Q, JV, both come to mind as well, Addison, like people who really performed well in Generation 8, or at least performed during Generation 8, are in a really good position, I think, going into this generation, just because, I mean, you all honed your skills, right? You all were continuously improving through all that, while many of us kind of, sat on the sidelines for the most part. So I think that'll be fun to see how that kind of unfolds throughout this, because not everyone in the GBA played much during that generation, that much I know, so that'll be fun for sure.
Right.
So what are you most excited about for this season coming up?
That's a tough one. I like to set myself goals for the season. My goal is just to go above 500, simple as that. And have fun with it. That's the big thing, because right now I'll just break some fourth wall in a little bit. Draft's been a little on and off for me since I also play competitive Unite. I don't know if many of you knew that, but I compete in the official circuit. I took it a lot more seriously this year. Did very good. Didn't make it the Worlds, but the point is I stepped back a little bit, so I haven't been investing as much time. And sometimes when I invest too much time, it feels like I'm just getting angry at the game if something goes wrong. If I don't invest any time, I just feel like I'm not caring enough. So I think if I can find that healthy balance throughout this season, that's one of my goals, I'm going to have a great time. That and beating some people who I prep with quite a bit would be really, really nice too.
Yeah, of course. And you bring up a really good point about just having fun with the game. That's one of those things that we can lose sight of so easily in Pokemon, especially when it gets, frustrating with the hacks and whatever happens in any particular game, That's a great point. I hope all the coaches, all the fans, I hope everyone's taking that to heart when you play this game. Play for the fun of it. That's why we're all here.
That's the most important aspect of this game, in my opinion. Having
Great
fun
point.
with it.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you kind of a tough question. Maybe you're ready for it. We'll see. Why should the fans support the Calgary Flamethrowers this season?
I'm him. No, but I don't actually have a solid answer. This is a tough question to answer. I'm very laid back. I like to be as positive as I can. Not always to that, obviously, how the game is, but I'm someone who's very chilled out. I like to explain my plays. I like to have fun with it, and I like to engage with my audience. So, or in this case, probably more of Kelly's audience than anything. I hope to engage with them quite a bit, whether it's the comment section, through social media, the Discord server, whatever it might be. I like interacting with you guys, talking to people in the community, and just forming new relationships. So if people are like all down for that, then I'm glad I'll have the support.
Hey, that's awesome. He's calling you all out. Maryland Sports Terrapins fans, come on over and support Galladite this season. The Calgary Flamethrowers are now your team to support, and that's awesome. And of course, I'm sure you'll find many of your own supporters along the way too. And yeah, I think we're all just excited to see how this season goes. And all right, so we can go ahead and transition into the third and final section of this interview, reflecting back on the history of draft format. You said you started draft format in Generation 8, is that correct, or did you play a little bit before that?
I started in 6.
Started in 6, so you've been
and,
around.
I started playing consistently in 7.
Okay. All right, yeah, so
been around a bit.
You have been around for quite a while. So we're celebrating 10 years of draft format this year. 2013 was the year that the GBA was first formed by Steve, aka Magnitude. So what has been your favorite moment in draft league history? It doesn't have to be GBA, it can be anything, your own league, someone else's league. What has been your favorite moment in draft league history over the 10 years or however many years you've been involved with it?
Right. Sucks for you. I was prepared for this question.
Ooh,
so this is the easiest one.
He's been watching other interviews.
Yes, I have 4 things I want to mention, and only one of them revolves around watching. Again, I mentioned I got consistently into draft around the end of Gen 7. I was a big UCL fan, especially when it was like Mega Mogwai won his championship. Oh my goodness, so much nostalgia watching that. I used to go back and watch that all the time until he unlisted his videos. Made me very sad. Leo also won a season. I also watched a bit of one of the final seasons of GBA, this guy named TTM Jolt. Not sure who that guy is, but I watched his run. Very, very exciting, as well as Styx in some of his Showdown leagues. So that was also really, really exciting. I think that's some of my favorite memories watching draft.
We didn't plan this.
Draft. I didn't. We didn't plan this. No. I was waiting for my moment here. Playing draft, I have 3 moments that speak to mind. One of my biggest wins early in my career was I had a Slowbro, and it was Calm Mind Dual Stab Slack Off, and I was down in the game like 1v5, and Slowbro brought it back so I could make my first ever finals, and it was against my good friend Jed, and that was a really historic moment in my head for my draft career, and things started going upwards since then. Another memory, and I mentioned this because it was mentioned in, I think, Q's interview, was I was in a call with JV when he won one of his championships, and I don't think I've ever been in a draft call so loud when he won that championship. We were all hyped for him. The chat was going crazy. Like Discord, you could barely scroll. It was going so fast. It was a truly awesome moment watching him win that championship in one of his leagues. It was a real bonding moment for the community that I'm a part of, and I love that community, so that was a big point. And finally, the last moment I want to mention was winning the inaugural season of UPA. UPA was a draft league in Gen 8 it was my first Wi-Fi league in Gen 8, and only my second one ever. I was almost considering quitting draft at full, because I was only doing Showdown at the time, wasn't really having much fun. Then I decided to give Wi-Fi a crack, and I had a lot of people I knew, and then some new faces who I'm great friends with. Back to Jay, I keep mentioning his name. I beat him in the finals of that league, and I went almost undefeated in that league. I lost, I think, 2 games, and it was a really, really great run. It really brought my inspiration to play draft back, was that league, and just the whole community. in that league. The players were amazing. The content was great. The team I had was awesome. You could not write a better like draft season than that, and it really brought me back into draft. And ever since that moment, my spark was relit. It died down a little bit at Gen 9, but you know, for the rest of the generation, I felt like I was having so much fun with draft. So that was a pretty long section, but those were my 3/4 biggest draft moments that I've had, and I'll always remember those.
That's awesome, and that's preparation, folks. That's he was ready to go. The favorite moments. That's really cool, and hearing that story from Q's interview and now hearing it from you again, it really highlights the community aspect of this format that we play. And I mean, speaking personally, like I was a lot more involved in Generation 6 and 7, had a really close community then that I still talk to this day, and it's just really fun to have that group of people that you can truly call good friends as you're going through all this, and they're there with you through the highs and the lows and everything. So that's really cool to hear that brought up yet again. So
I initially, when I joined YouTube and Pokemon content, I didn't really join with the intention of making close friends on the internet. I just came to make content and play Pokemon. But ever since that moment and a little bit before, forming a community, it truly means something, and it's meant so much to me. So I scrapped that out the window. And now some of my best friends are online now. So
that's awesome. I can't think of any better way to end this interview. Hey, I really appreciate your time for jumping on here with me, and we're all, like we said, looking forward to seeing the Calgary Flamethrowers in the GBA this season. Make sure to check out Galladite's channel. You go by Migs, is that correct?
I go by Migs as well. Galladite, Migs, either works for you guys.
Great. Yeah, make sure to check out Migs' channel, Galladite74, in the description down below, as well as his assistant coach, cbmarcus. Does he have a YouTube channel as well?
Yes, he does. I will hand you a link. It should be in the description below as well. He'll be on my channel for the draft analysis, so you guys will have some fun content there.
Perfect. Yes, make sure to check out all of that, and of course, the week 1 GBA uploads are coming your way on Sunday and Monday this week. We'll need to stay tuned on this battle here between the Calgary Flamethrowers and his week 1 opponent. We need to see what's going to happen there with the delay on the match. But anyway, hope you all enjoyed this interview, and I think we can go ahead and wrap this up. So we will see you all in the next one. Have a good one, guys.
Goodbye, GBA fans.